Eylene Pirez, and I'm an astrophysicist, and this is How is Earth's weather similar to Jupiter's? So in a lot of ways, they're totally different planets in the sense like they have very few similarities. So their weather, their atmospheres are vastly different. So they have very little things in common. So Earth is a lot smaller than Jupiter. In fact, Jupiter is over 300 times more massive than Earth. I think it's about 317. So just from that, you can tell that the scale where things are happening is actually very different. Now, Earth is closer to the sun, and we also have this tilt, which is responsible for our actual seasons. So we are tilted 23.5 degrees from the from the orbit of the sun. And this tiltation actually causes the seasons here on Earth. So we get differential amounts of sunlight in different parts of the hemisphere at different times of year. And this is where the seasons come from. Now, Jupiter, not so much. Jupiter is tilted about 3%. Therefore, they don't really see a large difference between the north and south. So from here, this is how the weather is very not similar. Now, the other thing is that Earth has kind of a small atmosphere because of its size. It has a rocky surface, so it has kind of a well-defined gaseous envelope, and it's made out of less than 79% nitrogen, and then the rest, about 20%, is oxygen, and then it has like 1% of traces and the other stuff, carbon dioxide and so forth. Now, this is kind of the composition of Earth's atmosphere. Now, Jupiter doesn't have solid ground, so the actual layer between the body of Jupiter and the atmosphere is questionable, right? It actually is based on atmospheric pressure. So there's no clear boundary between the atmosphere and the body. And Jupiter's atmosphere is fairly large and is made out of 80% hydrogen, about 19% helium, and about 1% is ammonia and traces. Now, let's talk about clouds. They both have clouds, actually. So Earth is water vapor clouds, and Jupiter, the clouds are actually made out of ammonia crystals. So it's kind of like an icy cloud. So they're very different in the sense that Jupiter does not have the type of precipitation that Earth has. So the weather patterns for these planets are completely different. Now, Earth does have cyclones, and Jupiter has anticyclones. So Earth has low pressure mass movements, and Jupiter, anticyclonic storms tend to have really high pressure. So the wind speeds in this anticyclones is about 600 miles per hour. When Earth, the highest wind speed that we see is about 200 miles an hour. And one of the famous anticyclonic storm of Jupiter is really long lasting. So we get hurricanes and storms that last, weeks, months. In Jupiter, it's been about 400 years. And this is the Great Red Spot. And it's about 40,000 kilometers across. So these are very large, high-pressure storms that last over a really long period of time. We don't have anything like that here on Earth. So as you can tell, there's very few similarities between Earth and Jupiter. I mean, mostly you can say that they both have an atmosphere and that they both have clouds, despite the fact that their weather patterns are completely different. My name is Eylene Pirez, and I'm an astrophysicist, and this is similarities between Earth's and Jupiter's weather.